Hello friends, my name is Habib. Today we're going to learn how to make 3D spinning circle bouncing effect using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Open VS Code, open folder, document, create a new folder, select folder. Now we'll create index.html, index.css, and index.js. Now write HTML5 and link this to the unlink the CSS. And also link the JS. Now I'll copy pass and I'll paste the pass. Sync. Now I'm going to create a div. I'll create another div, and I'll create another div. I won't do anything with this first div for now. I won't do anything with these last two divs for now, and I'll make this to give an idea of B. So now I'll write hashtag B. I will set the width to 100 pixels and change the aspect ratio. I'll set the aspect ratio to 1 divided by 2. So the ratio of width to height will be 1 to 2. Now set the background color to cornflower blue. And now I can do this. I can set the border radius to 100%. And now for the body, I'm going to set the display to grid, and I'll place the items in the center, and I'll also set the height to 100 SVH. Now it's centered. Anyways, let me change aspect ratio 1/1. Let me change this to align. Item center. Let me set this to position absolute. There we go. Now change this to place items to the center. And now change the aspect ratio back. Now I want this to be spinning in 3D. So I can set the transform. I'll set the rotate Y to 50 degrees. No, I meant the rotate X. No. I'll set the rotate X to 50 degrees, which is going to flatten it. And then I'll set the rotate Y to like 10 degrees to see what happens. That's what we're looking for. Now write B is equal to document, so get element by ID B. And now create a function called anim, which stands for animate. And now I'll use the set interval. So make my function to run 24 frames per second. Now Now I'm going to create a new variable called I, and I'll set I to 0, and now increase I by 1 and log it. Reload. Oops. Now I'm going to set the variable I to 0. An error. Oops. I meant to add this. Now. Hooray, we've done it. And so now I'm not going to log this anymore. I'll set the b.style.transform to translate x. So the style.transform to translate x 6. No, not 6. Oops, rotate y by ipx by I pixels by mass.sign I pixels it's meant to be degrees. And then now I'm going to remove this since we don't need this anymore. There's something wrong with this. We also have the transform. Oh, there must be something wrong with this again. I'll change this to rotate x, rotate to z, now it's working. Oops, it's not meant to be mass.sign, it's just meant to be I. Oops, I made a mistake. And it's just meant to be I degrees. Hooray, it's rotating. But I'm now going to change to rotate y. Now we'll be rotating in the y direction. And now set the rotate x to something like 20 degrees. I'll make it more slanted. Now it's rotating. Let me make the rotation faster. Okay. So yeah, now it's rotating faster. Now this is all we are going to do for this. So for this is all we are going to do. Now it's time to move on to the next part. I'm going to give this an ID of D. I will copy this and paste it here. I'll make the width to be much smaller, set the aspect ratio 1:1. I'll now set this to black. And I'll set this to D. I'll set this to hashtag D. And then I'll increase the width to 30 pixels. No, 20. Now what I'm going to do is that I want to make this ball to be bouncing on, well, this circle. So I'll create a new variable called t, which stands for, well, time. And then I'll be increasing it by 2. And now I'll copy this. paste it. Oops, remove this. And I'll set this to D, document.getElements by IDD. And now I'll do the same thing for D that I did for B. I'll copy this, paste it here. I'll set D.style.transform. This time I want to move it instead of rotating it. So I'll set translate Y. And now I'm going to set a variable called Y to 0. And now I'll set a variable called Y to minus like 100 pixels. So I'll set $y pixels, which will move this to the top. And now I will add mass.sign t, which is going to be moving it in a wavy way, which is going to give it a wavy motion. Now I will multiply this by something like 66, so that you can. There we go. Or maybe not, there we go. It's too fast. Now I'm going to divide this by 1 divided by 66 times t. Now that I've divided, now that I've made it much slower, now I can actually start, yeah. Now, and I'm going to set this to mass.absolute. It's going to get the absolute value, mass.absolute. Oops, wrong direction. Negative 66. And then let me redo this. Let me set this to minus. There we go. Now I'm going to decrease the Y position. I'm going to halve it, in fact. Now it really looks like the ball is bouncing on this. Now I'm going to increase it to something like 88. Oops, this makes it go higher. 66. I'll reduce this. I'll set this to 0. Oops, 0 minus mass absolute, blah 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 blah. There we go. Now it's working properly. And this is going a bit too slow, so I'll increase this, and then I'll increase the height that it goes. There we go. So now I have this last div, and now I'm going to give it an ID of S. And so for hashtag S, I'll set the position to absolute. I will set the transform to rotate X 30 degrees. Set the background color to black. Set the filter to blur 10 pixels. Oops, I've got to give this a width. I'll give this a width of like 50 pixels. And then set the aspect ratio again. Wait, no, to 1. Let me set this to height to 50 pixels. And set the aspect ratio to something like 2:1. Whoops, set the border radius to 100%. There we go. Let me also set this opacity to 0.5. And now I just have to move this down top 10 pixels maybe. Whoops. You know what, let me just use the translate. Now I'll translate it by like minus 40 pixels. 40 pixels. Let me increase this to like 80 pixels. Let me set the Z index to like -1. Increase the translate Y, and increase the aspect ratio. .4. There we go. Let me also make it much lighter. And now I'll go to body. Background color is equal to cornflower blue. Let me increase this. There we go. Anyways, that is it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel, ObaCode. Bye.